Finally, an iPhone that is the perfect way to enter the Apple ecosystem, at least for its price. It really has impressed a lot of people, including myself. The competition for the mid-range market has gotten even more fierce, with Apple releasing a phone for a price tag of $400. Not only that, but this phone delivers pretty darn good specs. There are compromises, of course, as there are with every mid-range device. However, if you can get past those compromises, which I believe are the perfect compromises for this phone specifically, then you can also really appreciate what Apple has to offer. This is a 2020 iPhone SE, 1 month later. I want to talk about how it held up for me in the past month and what I truly think about this device. This is a very controversial device, and I get that, but just hear me out on this. Design. The iPhone SE is, well, the body of the iPhone 8, which was the body of the iPhone 7, and the iPhone 6s, and the iPhone 6, which dates back to 2014. They all resemble each other, but the iPhone SE 2020 is pretty much using recycled parts of the iPhone 8. Looking at the back, it has a glass back like the 8, which supports wireless charging, and that's dope because some phones at this price point of $400 do not support wireless charging. The iPhone SE also moved the Apple logo to the middle of the phone, just like the 11 and 11 Pro. It comes in 3 colors: black, white, and product red. We get a single lens camera, and teardowns of this device show that it is the same lens of the iPhone 8. Everything about this iPhone is very similar. No bezel-less display, no notch, and not even a pop-up camera. I mean, I wouldn't expect that anyway from Apple. None of that stuff. There's also no headphone jack, and we continue to get the Lightning connector, which is obviously no surprise. We got the huge top and bottom bezels, where we also do have Touch ID over Face ID like the iPhone 11 series, and to be honest, I really do enjoy using Touch ID. The design is not futuristic by any means, and we can definitely tell by that. But for most people who are looking to buy this phone for what it's worth, that's totally fine. I feel that only Apple could pull this off by releasing a recycled design with updated specs. I would love to see something like a Nexus 5 with 2020 specs, or something like an HTC One M7 with 2020 specs for $400. Would it sell as good as the iPhone SE? Probably not, but one can only imagine, right? Honestly, I don't really mind this design. I get it. It doesn't meet 2020 standards, let alone even 2017 standards. But this design really doesn't bother me anymore. Oh, one more thing. This phone supports dual SIMs, which means if you use more than one SIM, this is perfect for that. By the way, if you're enjoying this video so far, I'd really appreciate if you can give this video a thumbs up and turn on the bell notifications, as it does help out the YouTube algorithm and pushes my content to more people. Software. The iPhone SE runs the latest software, iOS 13. One thing I love about iPhones is that they tend to receive 4 to 5 years of software updates. This really pushes users to hold on to their phones even longer. And since it's Apple's own chipset, own product, and own software, they have the advantage, and they can even optimize their newest software for older devices. You look at it nowadays and people are holding onto their phones even longer. Companies that push out $1,000 phones don't even guarantee 2 years of software updates, whereas a $400 iPhone will provide up to 5 years. Granted, Android is a different story, and there are a lot of components when bringing software updates to Android devices, but just knowing that your iPhone will be up to date just eases things. Even the original 2016 iPhone SE was updated to iOS 13. What I did notice though is that this phone is buttery smooth. The A13 Bionic chipset paired with the efficiency of iOS works really well. There are some features that I've been loving, like AirDrop with my MacBook, and yes, iMessage too. AirDrop has become super useful for me, especially for the channel. I typically edit my photos and thumbnails with my phone and later send it to my MacBook. Using an Android phone, I would have to plug in my phone and copy and paste the image, which isn't hard, but it just takes an extra minute or two. Using AirDrop really saves that time, because in the end, that time really does add up. Forget the time, it's just super convenient to click send to the MacBook, so when I open my MacBook, I know the photo will be there. Also, one thing I do notice is that developers tend to release their apps first on iOS, as well as updates to their apps, which I personally appreciate. Camera. The iPhone SE has one single rear camera coming in at 12 megapixels, which is the same module found on the iPhone 8. However, like I said before, thanks to A13 Bionic chip, it really does improve the software side of things. Daylight photos are super good. The main sensor pushes out photos you can actually use. Sometimes you hear people say that Android phones take awesome photos, but iPhones take even better photos for social media. At least that's how it's always been for me. Now, there isn't night mode on the iPhone SE, and while it's not really the biggest deal breaker, it does get you looking at other phones at the same price tag with features like night mode. The Pixel 3a, for example, has night sight, and the upcoming Pixel 4a will also have night mode too. Like I said, it's not really a huge deal breaker for me, but it's always nice to know that your device does have extra features. There is portrait mode, but this only works with humans, not objects or pets like the iPhone 11 series does. When it comes to video, the iPhone SE is a winner, and you know what I mean if you have used an iPhone before. You won't get extra features for the camera like a dedicated telephoto lens or an ultrawide, but this camera does the job. Quality is what really matters for me, and the iPhone's video just looks super crispy. If you're looking to use this iPhone SE for YouTube, vlogging, social media, or anything photo related, like just starting off a YouTube channel for example, this is the perfect choice because remember, the best camera is the one in your pocket, and that's typically your phone. You can start a YouTube channel or social media, whatever it is, for $400 with your iPhone SE. Battery life. Being inside throughout the duration of testing the iPhone SE, it's been quite tough actually trying to test the battery life to its full potential. But from how I've been using it, the phone lasts me if I just respond to some emails, text, browse the web, or use it for social media. And actually, that's all I really use the phone for. Once I start to watch YouTube videos and play some games, then the battery begins to deplete much quicker. The iPhone SE has a battery capacity of 1821 milliamp hours. Now, I gotta give credit to Apple for one thing, and that's the standby time. Apple has been very good with this, not just on the iPhone SE, but all over their iPhones. The iPhone SE will not drain a single percent when not in use. You can wake up in the morning with the same percentage. Like, I haven't seen that on any of my Android phones whatsoever. It's a good thing this phone does have fast charging and supports 18 watts, although you will need to buy that adapter separately. It also supports wireless charging, which is becoming even more common nowadays, and I really do miss this from my OnePlus 7 Pro. So, for an average consumer, this phone's battery should be fine. However, if you're consistently on your phone, playing games, watching videos, everything, then get ready to charge your phone or carry around a portable charger. If you have or have had an iPhone 8, expect it to perform about the same based on your usage. I'll have to conclude that battery life is probably the worst aspect though of the phone. Oh well, that's maybe a compromise in your situation. Price: $399 for 64 gigs, $449 for 128 gigs, $549 for 256 gigs of internal storage. I think the 128 gigs for $449 is a sweet spot. Android has a lot of competition right now. For $399 for the starting price, this is the perfect iPhone to enter the Apple ecosystem. But $449 for 128 is a sweet spot. Yeah, you can find an older device like an iPhone XR maybe for around the same price. Keep in mind though how old that device is. The iPhone SE might be an older design, but like I said, I feel like only Apple could pull that off by selling a phone with recycled parts. I can say that this checks almost, if not all, the essentials for $400. It's got a very solid camera. It has amazing speed and performance for an iPhone. It has fast and wireless charging. It will receive 4 to 5 years of software updates, which personally for me is pretty important. Even if you drop $400 for this iPhone SE, you know what you're buying. I made a separate video about who the iPhone SE is for, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll leave a link in the description down below. My final thoughts. Apple has done it again. A lot of people have been waiting for a refresh of the original iPhone SE, and they brought it again. We're seeing prices in phones increase exponentially, and the average consumer is only looking for a phone that can get them throughout the day without dropping $1,000 or even more on a phone. The iPhone SE comes in at $400 and will provide 4 to 5 years of software updates. It's a device where you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. I think that Apple released this at the perfect time, as Google is set to unveil their Pixel 4a around July, as what rumors are stating right now. OnePlus is also rumored to unveil their budget smartphone, the OnePlus Z. Cheap phones are getting really good, and these devices do prove just that. Now the iPhone SE, yes, it's a recycled design, but honestly, that's okay. Not everybody needs the latest and greatest. Some people are just looking for a phone that will answer phone calls, text, browse the web, and reply to emails. It's perfectly fine if you disagree with me. Not every phone is perfect, but this iPhone SE does a pretty solid job for what it's worth. The iPhone SE will perform and sell very well. And until the next iPhone 12 that's rumored to start at $650, until that comes out, this will be my main daily iPhone driver. You can have a good performing device for a lower price, and this phone does just that. Anyway, everybody, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to Superman that like button, comment down below, because with the more interactions we get on this video, not only helps the video and the channel, but also pushes the video out to more viewers. And best of all, Superman that subscribe button. Until next time, everybody, and until next video, this is MTG.